Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 11 Monday Night Football Showdown on DraftKings, and we have a game between the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. High total here, 50 points. Buccaneers favored by 10.5. A team total at 30 or above. 30.5 if you want to be exact. Exactly where the Buccaneers are every single week. But the Giants defense has been better than we would assume that they've been over the last few weeks. Can they slow down this Buccaneers team, or are the Buccaneers going to be in this perfect bounce back spot where they've had 2 losses and a bye week, haven't won in about a month at this point? So are we going to get angry, Brady? Are we going to have an explosion here on Monday night? I can't wait to talk about this slate. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. Leave me a reply down below and let me know how you did this weekend. Things were all over the place, but I know for a fact that our 5 under 5 video that comes out on Saturday morning absolutely smashed. So hopefully some of you guys had a few of those players in your lineups and took down something big. Let me know all about it in the replies down below. And let's get to Monday night. Let's go.
He's a legend.
Let's start with a pick'em over on underdogfantasy.com. If you have not been there yet, they have great best ball drafts that run all off season, from like the time that the Super Bowl goes until the draft. They have some pre-draft best balls, and then after that they have like the world's largest best ball tournament with $1 million to first. And the site just keeps on getting bigger and keeps on delivering. And now they have these pick'ems based on fantasy outcomes, fantasy points, rush yards, scrimmage yards, everything else. So let's pick a few of them for this game. I like the overs, even though I know that the unders are way more sharp, but I like to just do this for fun. So let's have a little bit of fun with it. I'm going to take Leonard Fournette over 64.5 rushing yards, and then kind of down here. I kind of like Kadarius Toney running out of the slot this week against Tampa Bay. They're not going to be able to run the ball, the Giants, against Tampa Bay's run defense. Even though Vita Vea is not there this week, they're still going to have to throw to be effective, and Tampa Bay has given up a lot of yards to receivers, specifically slot receivers. So that's going to be my 2. Let's come all the way up here, put this for $50, and you get a $100 match right now on your first deposit. So if you deposit $100, they will put another $100 into your account. Use that promo code ALSMIZZLE, one word, when you sign up. That's my ticket. Confirm, head there. Perfect. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs real quick. Take a look. As I said, a little bit over 30 is the team total, the implied team total for the Buccaneers, 19.5 for the Giants. Bucks favored by 10.5, opened at 10. Game still with a total of 50 on this slate. Looking over at this, let's take a look at the Giants first, right? Let's focus on them. Now, I go over this with you guys every week. Can other spots win in captain? Most certainly yes. The most frequent winner as your captain in Showdown is a wide receiver, followed by a running back. About 15% of the time, a quarterback ends up top. Very, very rarely. We just saw one where a defense or a special teams comes in the captain spot as the optimal captain. We saw it last week with the Patriots shutting out, on Thursday night, shutting out the Falcons and having a monster day. It's just rare. DraftKings scoring is set up through PPR. And with bonuses to really benefit major pass catchers. So you're more than likely going to end up with that. But if you're going to put a captain, a quarterback captain 1, I'm going to limit them in the lineup builder. I'm going to make sure that maybe 5% of my 150 are going to have Daniel Jones. And if you're playing a single lineup, you're probably going to have to steer clear of that as well. I kind of limit my captains to the guys that I think can be the highest scoring player on the night, with most chance of doing that. And you're looking at receivers mostly, then running backs as your most common winners at captain. But if we're going to play Daniel Jones, who does give us some rushing upside, we've seen him break off long runs, even when he stepped on a squirrel last year against Philly and tripped on the 5-yard line after a 60-yard run. They are running him a lot, and the Buccaneers defense does not allow a lot of rushing yards to opposing running backs, although they do let you throw the ball to them. We'll see if that changes with Vita Vea being absent this week. But Daniel Jones now finally has some healthy pass catchers. Yeah, Shepard's out, right? And Shepard's been really good. Okay, so like he's losing him out of the slot. But as I mentioned in the little open there, Kadarius Toney going to be manning the slot at this point. And coming off of a bad game against Las Vegas, week off last week, this looks like he is going to be the primary interior pass catcher, as well as the tight end Evan Ingram, who quietly has put together some pretty not terrible games. I guess that's me saying something nice about Evan Ingram. Like I don't know. Like he hasn't done the stuff, right? He had 12 fantasy points and 10 fantasy points, but like 6 of those come from touchdown catches, and those are highly variant. I want to see the volume stabilize, but it's not. 4, 8, 3. He's all over the place. And we now also have on the outside, Galladay is back and healthy with his 3 targets in week 9. And on the other side, that's probably going to be manned by Slayton with his 1 target. There's 4 guys from to throw to, so at least things are adding up for Daniel Jones. If you're going to have Daniel Jones as your captain, you're going to want to build that group in the Fantasy Labs Optimizer, where you're going to have all of his pass catchers and the kicker, including Slayton, including guys like Rudolph. Ross is a depth guy. He can be a very viable showdown punt play at 600 because, one, he's not going to get more than like 2 targets in this game, being the 5th guy. But if that one is a 40-yard touchdown, and that's basically, he's a one-trick pony, and that's really a cool trick in single-game showdown. If he does happen upon one of those plays, you're going to end up with him being in the optimal lineup just the way that it goes. He might be one of those guys in our group of 5 or 6 low-played players to force into lineups in case, right? But he's not a core play for me at all. If you are going to use one of those 4 pass catchers, oh yeah, I guess I'm burying the lead. Saquon Barkley practiced all week, albeit in somewhat limited fashion. They're not gonna push him in practice. They know exactly what he can do. They're just gonna get him ready. Looks like he's on the probable side of questionable, or of this questionable tag. They expect him to play this week. And as I've mentioned ad nauseum for the last 2 years, you don't run on the Buccaneers. But also, full PPR with bonuses, I don't care if you run on the Buccaneers. A target is worth way more than a carry. Roughly like 2.8 times as much in terms of DraftKings scoring. So Saquon Barkley and his ample receiving talent could be on display against this Buccaneers team. He should get his 12 to 16 carries in this game, even if they trend worse, right? If the Buccaneers get up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and a half, Barkley will still get 10 or 11 carries, but like the realistic hope here is that he gets 5 to 10 targets in this game, easily converting those into catches, and with his after the catch ability, turning one on. If you are going to play a giant and captain, I would assume that he is going to be the most heavily played one, although my favorite will probably be Tony. If you're going to use one of these guys as your captain, I'm going to tie Daniel Jones to them, because if they have a big enough game to be viable as a captain, then that quarterback is going to get pulled along with him, and points are at a premium when it comes to a showdown slate. So like, if I'm going to plug Tony in there, I would prefer Tony probably to Barkley as the captain. Going to allow or going to force Daniel Jones in that lineup. Same with Ingram, same with Slayton, and so on and so forth. Now, moving on to the Buccaneers. They're way more fun, right? Moving on to the Buccaneers. Tom Brady. Are we going to get the angry Brady narrative here? You know, like they've lost 2 games. He was really angry. He stormed out of a press conference in that last one. The Giants defense has not been the punching bag. Maybe it's my own personal bias. Maybe I think that they should be a punching bag. That defense not super strong, but they've been pretty good the last few games. Like not like terrible, right? 20 like after this, right? Like this is where they've been. 38, 44, 30, 27. The last 3 games, 3 points allowed to Carolina, 20 points only to Kansas City, and 16 allowed to Las Vegas. So they've tightened it up a little bit. Now Tampa Bay is a completely different story when it comes to stopping them as an offense, and as an offense that's getting healthier, right? So angry Brady, if we're going to build that Brady group, I'm still going to probably limit Brady to like 5 or 7% out of my overall captain spots, my overall allocations. I'm going to use it on everybody else and not Tom Brady. I'm going to use it on the pass catchers mostly, some of the running backs. I will include Evans. I'm not going to force Fournette, even though he's got good usage. We'll talk about him in just a minute. Godwin. Gronk looks like he might play in this one. He's questionable for Monday night. We'll know 90 minutes before lock. If he's not, you know that Brate has taken over the primary backup tight end spot. It started out being OJ Howard's job, running more routes and playing more snaps that first week that Gronk was out. Then it trended more towards Brate playing more snaps, running more routes per drop back, and getting more targets. So if Gronk is in, obviously we prefer Gronk. If not, Brait would be the next guy. Let's just plug Gronk into that group for argument's sake. The next step, like Tyler Johnson has not done a lot with the amount of playing time that he's gotten, but at least he's there. Brait would be the other guy that you could include. We also have Gio Bernard, who's playing a lot of snaps and getting a lot of catches, but typically when they're losing. Ronald Jones Jr. pretty much out of it. OJ Howard, if you're just shooting for a touchdown, maybe a 1 in 5 guy. And that's basically it, as Antonio Brown, gonna miss this game. So that's his primary pass catchers. You're gonna build that bring back group as well with basically every offensive player that exists for the Giants if you're having Tom Brady be your captain. If you're going to put Fournette at captain, a true 5-box running back here. Last week, caught 8 balls on 9 catches in a game that they were losing. Caught 3 balls on 5 catches the week before against New Orleans. Playing at home now, back at home, favored by 10, perfect 5-box spot. And last week's game when they were playing from behind a lot, and he played 65% of the snaps with all 3 running backs healthy, that was when they were playing from behind, and you're looking at 29% of the snaps being played by Gio Bernard. If they get that game script, they're playing from ahead, that's not going to happen, and Fournette's going to get the majority of the catches, the majority of the snaps, the majority of the running back touches, get an ample amount of targets and catches, and obviously all of the inside the 5 work that's on the ground. If I'm going to utilize, same as with the Giants, I'm going to utilize Mike Evans as the captain, going to force Brady in that group. Same thing for Godwin. And it's kind of a tight group that you're going to be using at captain in this game, because there's not a lot of guys that you really can lead the game in terms of scoring. We'll take a look over here at Tampa Bay's target tree. You've got this: Godwin, Evans, Fournette, Brown, Tyler Johnson. Looking at the Giants, they're all over the place because Shepard leading them in overall targets, but he's missed a bunch of games, and so has Galladay, and so has Tony, and so like theirs is really, really muddled. I did want to take 2 seconds to let you guys know once again about the fundraiser that we're doing on the channel, trying to raise $25,000. We're approaching the $21,000 mark with a little bit over a month to go. I really think that we can get there. And if any of my content has helped you, if you believe that you have gotten a little bit better, or if you binked something at all in week 11, take a couple of seconds, go to smizzle.tv/charity, and please drop a couple of dollars for the kid. Every single dollar helps. 1 in 6 kids are struggling with food insecurity in our country, and we can do a little bit of something every single week to try and help out. I mean, the content's free. All I ask is that you try and give a little bit and think about somebody else. Let's head over to the Fantasy Labs lineup builder. As I said, I'm going to leave 90. I'll allow 10% under, right? I'll leave some money on the table in Showdown. 15% range of outcomes. That's kind of a shuffle thing to not end up with all of the same players. The lower you set this, the more to the projections it's going to stick. The higher you set it, the more randomness you're going to get. Going over to the rules that I said, as I said, pair your captain quarterback with at least 2, wide receiver, kicker, or tight end. Pair your captain quarterback with at least 1 of the opponents, not including the defense or the kicker. Pair your captain wide receiver with exactly the quarterback from their team. Pair the captain tight end with exactly the quarterback from the same team. And at most 1 defense or kicker from the same game. Focus on getting the players that get those PPR points, as that's most important. And the most important thing that I add to these is this one, at least 1, and then I put a list of players that I think are going to be about 25% or down on the night. Lower played players that are going to be on the field, might get a few catches, get you like 5 to maybe 15 points, that are going to be underplayed, and I force them into every lineup to get me more unique. There's going to be overlap when it comes to Showdown. That's just the way that it goes. But if you're going to cross the finish line, you want to do it holding hands with like 10 people and not like 100 or 500 people. That way you win a lot more money when you do it, as opposed to just a little bit of money. We'll let the optimizer run. I appreciate you guys being here. I have set nothing that's absolutely vanilla, so don't copy these lineups. It doesn't make any sense. These are just randomly generated vanilla lineups with absolutely nothing other than the rules that I had just set being applied. So learn how to use it. If you want to go check out the Fantasy Labs optimizer, there's a link down below for a discounted membership. Go check it out, smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L, and look out for all the rest of my content with another video right there.
He's a legend.